Three, two, one. We are going live. What's up, everybody? It's Tyler with Hook Sets Are Free. Hope you guys are having a great night. It is Thursday night, May the 25th. Today was my first graders, my 7-year-old's last day of school. Yesterday was my 5-year-old. It was her last day of preschool. So it is officially summer break for us here in Colorado. Cheers to that, everybody. Drinking a little Odell drumroll hazy pale ale tonight. Cheers. Hope you've all been well. Not a lot has transpired on my end since the last time that we last hung out, but I do have a new backdrop tonight, as you can tell. So I reorganized some of my baits. A little bit of it was just kind of rushed in order to get stuff up for this evening, as opposed to having a real reason for why everything made its way onto. Let's see if I can show you, give you kind of the little bit of a tour, tell you what is on the wall. So still have kind of this entire side as swim baits, and then a little bit hodgepodge over here. So didn't change a lot down here. Got the new Bass Mafia Dangerous swim bait, Mag Draft and Mag Slow in the bigger sizes there. The 13 Fishing Coalition baits trout, and the 7-inch Spark Shad. Some Kitex in the bigger sizes, 4.8, 5.8, 6.8. And then the Owner Cultiva GetNet Burrican Swimmer, Amakatsu Stealth Swimmer, some Scottsboro swim baits, the Optimum Baby Boom Boom and Boom Boom swim baits, Beast Coast Miyagi, Mag Drafts, Gancraft Bariki Shad, Mag Draft or Megabass Spark Shad. Not sure if you can see all the way up there. 13 Fishing Coalition baits, Shad and Bluegill, Jackal Rhythm Wave, Yum Scottsboro swim baits, 6 Cents Sweep, River to Sea D Walker, Megabass Hazadong Shads. Then down here we've got the OSP Doe Live Beaver Bottom Up Vollop Swimmer. That's all the swim baits on the wall. There's a bunch that came down in order to get those up. Then we've got the Kitech Crazy Flappers, Jackal Bounty Fish, and all the way down bottom are the Geek Rack Bellows Gills, mostly. And then over here, switched it up. Down below, we've got some of the Z-Man Goat Toads. I mean, actually a bunch of toads. The Netbait BF Toad and the Savage Gear Duratech Toad. And then in the bottom corner is the Yamatanuki and the Fish Arrow Heavy Poop, since I haven't ripped those yet. And then we've got a bunch of Zoom baits. These are 3 of my favorite Zoom baits. We've got the Swamp Crawler, the Magnum Finesse Worm, and the Ultra Vibe Speed Craw. Reaction Innovations Man Bear Pig and the Spicy Beavers. Rage Tail Rage Bugs and the Magnum Rage Bugs and the Punch Bugs. And then up top are the Baby Z2, which is one of my favorite all-time baits. Over here, we've got the Netbait Crush Worm, just kind of randomly put there last minute. And then a couple Nico Rig Worms. These are the X-Zone Nico Ned Zones and the Missile Baits Quiver in the 4.5. And then some Chatterbait trailers in the Beast Coast Blade Runner, the Missile Baits and Hog Farmer Spunk Shads, the Big Bite Baits Kamikaze Swim On, as well as a pack of the Yamamoto Zakos. So kind of reorganized the bait wall, and Hope you like it. Happy to talk about any of the baits on the wall or otherwise. But I was thinking maybe we could talk about some JDM tackle and even hop online together this evening. I've got carts loaded up on like 3 different Japan import websites because I have a problem and am just feeling like blowing a little bit of money on some JDM baits, but don't know whether I'm actually going to pull the trigger. You know, shipping is always kind of the X factor with that stuff. So let me greet you all this evening. Hope everybody's doing well. We got Brendan in the house, Matt, yo, Frank, my dog, Daniel T, brother, what's up? I need to give you a little bit more freedom to share your screen and such because we've had that issue in the past. But Brendan, a lot of good baits up there. I agree. Thank you very much. No, the Magnum Speedworm, it's too big of a bag to really be able to fit. So I have like 3 boxes of Zoom baits, but the Magnum Speedworm and the Ultravibe Speedworm are definitely in there. They're not quite in my top 3 baits, if you will, from Zoom. But yeah, I've got limited real estate, you know, only like what 40 or 50 pegs worth. And so decided to narrow it down to 3 Zoom baits, but that is a good bait, no doubt. Rich, Hellabass, how you doing tonight? Chicken fried steak, what's up? Face green smiling, hand pink waving. What is that? Was that supposed to be a an emoji or something? Interesting. Rich says, what is JDM? Rich is so anti JDM. Rich, half of this stuff is JDM. Not that I know how to show and share, but yeah, this Bariki shad is one that I really want to put a lot more time into this year. I'll say 3 JDM swim baits that I am wanting to put time into this year because they're different. And there's a couple more that I have my eye on, but first one that is perhaps the least unique is the Birkin swimmer. They make this in 2 different sizes. It's a little bit smaller than the Mag Draft, and what makes it different is its wider body and these fins that help keep it a little bit more weedless than the Mag Draft. So the size to me is kind of the biggest factor, but you'll notice you can tuck the hook points up on these fins and just have one exposed below. So it'll run a little bit more weedless that way. But I don't believe it has a magnet built into it. It still has a slot for the hook to go into so that you can rig it like a Mag Draft and have the 2 hook points trailing below the bait. But this is a bit softer of a plastic than what you get with the Mag Draft. And so you get quite a lot more tail action in these smaller sizes. So you should be able to fish this bait at a slower speed and it be less sensitive than the Mag Draft. That has been perhaps my biggest hang up with the Mag Draft, is just how speed sensitive it is. You can't really fish it slow or even medium slow, which is kind of annoying. So that is part of why I bought this bait, is to be able to have just a little bit more versatility with it than you get with the Mag Draft. Geez, I just want to put it away. So I got one in the 5.4 and one in the 4.4. This 5.4 weighs a little bit more than an ounce, 32 grams, and the 4.4 weighs 23 grams. So a little bit more than 3/4 of an ounce. So compare that to the 5-inch mag draft. 5-inch mag draft is 3/4 of an ounce. So the 5-inch mag draft is more like the 4.4-inch Hurricane Swimmer in terms of weight, but again, still going to be speed sensitive. So a little bit of an issue. Yeah, you lost the tail after 9 bass. I mean, that's not the worst, but what'd you think about the bait in general? You think it's more speed sensitive and slow than a mag draft, meaning that you need to fish it slower than a mag draft? Interesting. I haven't thrown it yet, but I don't foresee it being more speed sensitive. In my opinion, the mag draft really needs to be fished medium fast, which to me, isn't the end of the world, but I notice sometimes that the tail is not doing its job. So that can be a little bit annoying. I haven't fished it yet, but I'm sure that Rich did not. You have to absolutely crawl it. Rides really high. Still, if you fish the mag draft too fast, it will blow out. So, again, I think both of the baits probably need to be weighted a little bit in order to get your preferred speed. And I haven't done that with either bait. So, the other one that I'm really excited to give a whirl that is very similar to the mag draft in terms of its build is the Amakatsu Stealth Swimmer. Okay. From a plastic standpoint, it feels very similar to the mag draft, although it's a little bit thinner. But this bait has a unique internal harness system, also built off of a magnet on the bottom of the bait, but that ejects a single hook straight up when you set the hook. So fits straight in there. They make extra harnesses that you can buy if you were to blow it out of the bait for some reason, but you can see there's a giant pocket in there. It does come with 2 baits in a pack, and both are pre-rigged, but with different weights. So you get different sink rates in them, which is pretty cool. You also have this hook hanger on the bottom of the bait so that you could throw a treble hook on here if you wanted to fish the bait in the middle of the water column. But quite frankly, this is meant to be more of a bottom of the water column style swim bait because of the way that it's designed in being weedless. So that is another one that I purchased last year, but did not get an opportunity to actually fish with. But looks beautiful, feels beautiful. And I think at this point they make it in 2 different sizes. It is a little bit expensive, coming in at like $30 for the 2-pack, but not outrageously expensive. Smells very plasticky, which is what it is. And the last one's the Bariki Shad from Gancraft. This is a unique bait. First of all, I like the packaging on these, so that you could, it's perforated on all edges so that you could split this in half and just take 2 baits with you if you wanted to. And also, it's built so you could have one pre-rigged already sitting with your, beast hook on it, and it'll sit inside the clamshell, which is pretty sweet. But in terms of the actual bait, and they make this in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 different sizes, similar to a Kitech. So this is a very soft plastic, and you'll see that that tail is super thin. I am a little bit worried about the tail just getting bitten off, but the tail is what makes this thing unique. Okay, so it does have a head shape so that it's going to wiggle a bit. It's pretty thin, but the two features that make it particularly cool, aside from the density of the plastic and the colors and stuff, are this notch on top so that you can tuck the point of your hook in, or not even tuck it in, but rather it's just going to act as a little bit of a weed guard. And then two, it's got 2 different slots for nail weights. So first of all, you can put them here. Second of all, and better yet, you can put a rattle or a nail weight into the tail to change, obviously, the sound or the action of that tail kick. So pretty cool design features in that bait that make me want to get to know it a little bit better. But I gotta say, the Japanese just are quite a bit more thoughtful than us Yankees. And so I like to check out JDM stuff whenever I can. And there are certain baits, like I've mentioned before, that over the last couple of seasons, first it was this dude right here, which I never expected to fall in love with this bait, but the Bellows Gill does live up to the hype. Okay. And I think it's more the action and the ribbing of the baits than it is the scent, but both are totally unique. And as a weightless bait, but probably also as a free rig bait, it has something magical going on with it. So that bait was an absolute slayer for me 2 seasons ago, and then also again last year. And then last year, the Depths Cover Scat, same category in terms of being a bait that I couldn't take seriously at first, let alone justify purchasing. And then when I did and tried it out, it absolutely wrecked the fish. So the Gee Crack bait, the Bellows Gill, was solid for me all season long, whereas the Cover Scat didn't really start doing damage for me until post spawn and into the summer. So I've thrown the Cover Scat a little bit early this year and haven't had a tremendous amount of success with it yet. But I have a lot of confidence in it for sure. Yeah, I thought I showed that. You could put a rattle or a nail weight in the tail. Now, why do you think that is, Matt? You said you've only gotten bit on the Stealth Swimmer a few times, not as productive as I was thinking, but most soft swim baits aren't, unless they're on a jig for me. Fair enough. Yeah, the other thing that I've played around with a little bit recently is throwing just the old tried and true, the 4.8-inch Kitech weightless, and fished it high and fast. I didn't quite realize how stable it is without weight in it, because most people either fish it on a beast hook that is weighted, or on a jig head, or on a swim jig. And all 3 of those riggings are fantastic. But, when you check out Kitech's website, most people don't know this about the Swing Impact Fat, but I don't know if this is the best color pattern to show you this feature because it's so shiny. This green shad. Let me see if I can find you a darker one that'll show it a little bit better. Maybe there's Junebug. Still shiny, but on the bottom of the bait, right in this middle section, there are 2 holes. There's one in the light, and there's the other in the light. Those are designed for nail weights to go into the bottom of the bait, and then you use a weightless hook. So that's a 4th way to fish this, but I didn't realize that fished completely weightless, that it swims stable. And you can fish it like buzzing up on the surface like you would with a frog or some other types of more buoyant soft plastic swim baits. And like obviously I plan to do with the Zoom Unitoad that I picked up recently, but just tried that recently with the Kitech and liked it. Dual density. That's exactly right, Frank. That is one thing that JDM manufacturers do very well that most US manufacturers really don't even put thought into. 505, I like it. I fished it a couple times now. The other bag that I have is upstairs in my go bag because I've been fishing it. But here she is, the Yama Tanuki. It's interesting, right? I mean, I like the design of it in terms of the fact that it can hold a absolutely giant hook. And that is what these baits are really meant to do. But it's super heavyweight. So just like the other baits in its category, this thing weighs 5/8 of an ounce and throws very easily. It skips very easily, and it has a unique fall to it. So, in my opinion, I'm going to be more comfortable and more confident fishing this than I would a standard Senko. Um, but I still see it as a bottom fishing bait as opposed to a bait that gets bit on the fall. So a Senko, you're going to throw out, let it fall to the bottom, maybe pull it 1 or 2 times before you reel it back in and make another cast. You're expecting to get bit on the fall. But with these poo baits, they're meant to be fished low and slow. And as you twitch the bait, it will walk until you kill it, and then it will have its kind of shimmy down to the bottom. So it's a mixture of a fall bait, a dead sticking bait, and then a kind of scoot and or walk low in the column. And so in general, I'm a fan. I don't know how much the design of this one is going to make it different than the Fish Arrow heavy poop or especially the Depths cover scat, but they're definitely becoming more popular style baits. Daniel, I did see that Discount Tackle has a Yamatanuki kit. So if you want to buy 4 packs at once of that bait, I think it's just a hair cheaper than if you were to buy the baits by themselves, but you get the 4 most popular colors, right? So you get like black and blue, green pumpkin, watermelon red, and green pumpkin blue flake or something like that. So pretty cool that they did that. Yeah, no problem. I think that tail is going to make a little bit of a difference. In limited amount of information that I've gotten about the bait, apparently it's supposed to be that much more effective in submerged grass, that it will sit in the grass with that tail kind of sticking out. So as you shake the bait or pull it out, that tail just has a little bit more going on than other baits in its category. But I don't know. Yeah, Frank, me too. Makes the bait run true really at all speeds, but there are a lot of JDM baits that do have dual density soft plastic, and I wish more baits in general had it. That has been a frustration of mine with certain baits is that they will just roll over and swim upside down because they don't have that dual density soft plastic. Here's Matt with some JDM. Those DRT baits kind of show that really well. Those baits are super stable for being used on a weightless hook. Appreciate the input. That is a bait that I considered putting up on the wall, but you do have to rip it. So I've only got one that's unopened and one or two that are opened, and opted not to put them up on the wall. But I do plan to fish them very soon. All right, so 30 baits for 4 packs. Yeah, you don't really save anything, right? That's $7.50 a pack. So that's a good question. The rhythm wag is one that I've only fished a limited amount. I think Daniel might have slightly better input on that. That also has uh, dual density soft plastic, but is made to be a dual purpose bait, right? So I wish they made it in slightly larger sizes, but it's a very narrow profile bait. I don't know if I've got one close by to be able to show you, but I do have a pack of them, and I bought them in the smaller, like 4.5 inch size to use as a drop shot bait primarily. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hopefully it's in this box, because if it's not, you're not going to see it. But no, this is the 3.5 inch size, so really small. In fact, I've got one sitting here on my table, but here's the rhythm wag. I like it, as a drop shot bait, but also I think it could make a decent downsized chatterbait trailer. And then this is a backsliding bait as well. So it says right there on the package, backslide setting is possible. So this one is rigged to be backslided, if you will. So it's reverse rigged, and it's even got a ring on the hook. That's not necessarily intentional, but it's a backsliding bait. So as you throw it out there, it's going to swim away from you, which I think is a cool feature. That's another thing that Japanese lure manufacturers do really well. There are a lot of backsliding baits on the market in Japan, but not very many here in the US. So rhythm wag is a good bait. Too much poop talk. All right, Rich. Well, you have a great rest of your night. Thanks for stopping by. We've got 17 people in here right now. Not that many of you contributing in the chat. So feel free to jump in, say hello, ask a question, what have you. But I think we're probably going to hop on and talk about a few Japanese baits that are kind of on my radar as of now, because I find them interesting and perhaps worth talking about. So let me see if I can't share my screen. Can't decide which I want to show you first. So we're going to go with this interesting article that I found. This is on japanfishingtackle.com. Okay. 2023 upcoming baits, it says. So just wanted to see what you guys are seeing real quick. Let me scoot both of these tabs all the way over so that I can jump back and forth and see your guys' comments. But yeah, man, I want to give backsliding a little bit more of a fair shot this year as well, especially when pitching into heavier cover or under hanging trees, um, or little pockets where I know I can pitch to, but usually we've just relied on getting it there and falling in front of the fish and expecting them to come out and get it. I want to be able to swim it down to the fish to where they're at. So just got into hover strolling, did you? I have not given that a go. So interesting. All right. So let's see what's in this interesting article on japanfishingtackle.com. I don't know when they posted this specifically, January 20th. So this is a couple months old, but you're going to see some baits that you probably haven't heard of before. Obviously, the sleeper craw you have. These are all megabass baits. So the Eye by Eye Furious 62. You don't see a lot of info about these baits. It's just showing the specs of them. Okay, so a couple different sizes in the 0.5 size, quarter ounce, so 64 millimeters. This is the 1.5 size. It says the same weight, so it's obviously not, but it's a 1.5 size, or maybe it is, but the bill is just what's different. You can see that this is a 0.5, so it probably dives to 0.5 meters, whereas this one dives to 1.5 meters. The Spine X 190. Look at that multi-jointed swim bait, 190 millimeters, 2 ounces. Looks pretty dang good. Shallow diver. The Gorham 147. This is a floating bait with a prop tail. Interesting. The iSlide 187R. I don't know jack about this. Is that just a rattling version of the iSlide, or does R stand for something else? It's an iSlide 187. The new iBreak with a detachable paddle tail and some wings here on the front of the bait. Looks interesting. iSlide 265R, whatever the R means. Jamaica Boa Jr. That's going to be pretty cool. I will say the Jamaica Boa is a great buzzbait, but one that I have always felt is a little bit oversized for what it is. So I am glad to see that they're coming out with a smaller quarter ounce version. No, 3/8. So even better. I think this is the size that the buzzbait should have been in the first place, but the original was a half ounce, or is rather. I've got a couple of them, and like the way that it runs, it's just a pretty big buzzbait. Now, this is perhaps what grabbed my attention more than anything in this entire article is the Edo Shiner SSR. Okay, so the Edo Shiner is one of the more popular jerk baits by Megabass. Has a more erratic action and a fuller body than the Vision 110. But this dude is a super shallow runner. That really grabs my attention. I've always been intrigued by jerk baits that run shallower than normal. So anywhere in that like 3 to 5 feet, as opposed to 4 to 6, 5 to 7, and even deeper. So a super shallow diving erratic jerk bait that my guess is based on that bill is probably it's going to run 1 or 2 feet deep. That looks pretty freaking sweet if you ask me, and got me to go looking down a rabbit hole for these baits. And you can find them if you go look hard enough, but not super easily. What you'll see is that they don't have the release date updated on here. So that and the Kanata in an opposite version is coming in a +1. So this guy will dive now to 10 feet. And the original Kanata, only dove like 6 feet deep, something like that. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be a big fan of that since it's their oversized jerk bait, at 6+ inches long. That will be pretty cool, but doesn't necessarily suit my fancy. I like the regular Kanata just fine. Now check out these new mag drafts. The Hasu Raver. This is 178 millimeters. This is a soft bait that is multi-jointed with some big fins on there and a split tail design. How rad is that? A little bit of information here. The triple jointed body and ultra thin joints, and the fins move lifelikely with a slight stream of water, create a realistic swimming action just by retrieving. In addition, by long jerks just below the surface of the water, it shows off an escape action that makes real life a real fish escape. Furthermore, Megabass's original mud mag hold system magnetically attaches the hook to the body. It camouflages the presence of the hooks and eliminates discomfort to the fish. Okay. So either way, multi-jointed mag draft without a paddle tail, a split tail design. This one I'm perhaps most excited about. Here we go. The IU Twitcher mag draft. This is a single joint, essentially just a glide bait in a soft plastic form. That's pretty sweet. The IU Twitcher. What do you guys think about that? Dave Jolly in the house. Yo, yo. You been lurking tonight? You think the Boa Jr. looks good? I agree, man. Is Brendan back in here seeing this or no? So Matt says the Hasu Raver has better action than the IU Twitcher. Well, I'm sure it's all about how you work the baits. But yeah, interesting to know. Now they've got some shad style baits coming out. That shading XR, dark sleeper in a bigger size, 4.5 inch. I'm not sure what the biggest was, like 3.8 inch or something like that. Jackal's got some new baits. This Kluber looks really interesting. This bait has a reverse joint on it. So it's a single jointed bait, but is in reverse. So it's almost resistant. Let me see if I can somehow show you. All right. So this is a big bait. Are they just showing off the hooks right here since they fiddled with them? I want us to be able to see the joint and its weirdness. Okay, maybe he talks about it here. We missed it early. So this is a 49-minute video on the Kluber from Jackal. This is like a $40 or $50 bait, but look at how subtle of a bait this is. It's like a hybrid between, it looks more like a jerk bait than a glide bait. Although it has that joint, gives it a very subtle meandering action to it. And that's because the joint is the opposite of how it would normally be cut. And so it acts kind of funny. Look at this thing. Doing a whole lot of nothing, just very, very subtle. I don't know where they're going to talk about the joint, but I wish we could I want to show you. And I don't know if they're going to show us right now. You can kind of see it there, but see if we can't scoot ahead to where he's talking about it. Holy hot damn. This is such a long video. There it is. Might even be able to. Okay. I don't even need to get you the subtitles right now. See that reverse joint? Interesting. So I wouldn't say that this bait necessarily like suits my style. Um, so I'm not like itching to go get it, but it definitely looks innovative. 180 millimeters and 40 grams. See if you guys are saying anything about it. Dave says, looks sweet. I'd like to try it. Yeah, I'm not surprised that the Hasto has a more natural swim to it, for sure. Um, but you can also glide it. Okay, that's fair. So Jackal's got a new TN 38. Good God. I don't know why they call it the 38. Here it says 43 millimeters. Up here it says it's 38 millimeters, whatever that means. It weighs a quarter ounce at 7.3 grams. And so they made it in a Trigon version, the out metal system, which I'm not quite sure what it is. It's just more than the original tungsten lip. It's got this dude, little ball sack hanging off of its chin. Maybe comes through cover a little bit better. Drags on the bottom that much better. But I don't really know its purpose. Now, the Jackal Swing Mikey is one that has got my attention right now. It is currently on my radar. Doesn't exist yet in the States, but it's a bait that came out last year, and now this year they're releasing a downsized version of it. So I think the original was like 115 millimeters and more like 3/4 of an ounce or something like that. This new dude is tiny, 72 millimeters and 9.3 grams. But I will say the Swing Mikey looks pretty sick. It has a flat tail that is wider than the body. We can talk more about that later, but the regular Swing Mikey has 2 hooks on it. This smaller one just has 1, so not a huge fan of that. Jackal's got a bunch of stuff coming out. This little A-rig looking deal, a spoon, the drift crab. You guys have maybe heard of this bait, but the drift crab came out like a year ago. Now they're coming out with the drift crab mini. So the drift crab has my attention, makes me want to try it. Looks pretty cool, I'll say that. That and this one, the Need Bug, looks pretty sick. Both baits have me interested. Vividus, I've always been weirded out by the side rig bait, so don't know about that. And then this Jimmy Shrimp looks pretty cool. The double paddle tail situation going on. A lot of different stuff going on there. Super brake blade. The brake blade is a solid bladed jig, but I don't know what makes this one quite different. I don't know what this wire is on the bottom of the bait. If it's got a blade in there or not. If it's like a, you know, If it's like an underspin mixed with a chatterbait, don't know. They also make it in a fine version, which is just smaller. They make it in a 1/8 up to a quarter, and the original is a 1/4 up to a half. Jackal Dow's Jerk, oversized top water walking bait, looks like. The Dempsey Jack, check out this little top water frog toad style bait with some silicone skirting coming out the back. That looks cool. Evergreen, I've never fished the Last Ace, so I don't know much about it, but I know that that's a bigger version of the Last Ace, as well as the 110 floating. Nori's with a big, this looks a lot like the Bass Pro Shops XPS glide bait, right? And a spoon from them. And then Imakatsu with this wild looking bait called the Death Roll. I mean, freaking weird looking, dude. It looks like a...
All I do is leave you with a kiss and a present, because my daddy always said that you were kind of...
Can I mute that? Jeez.
And affection and time to judge will always come to silence and the wreckage. I guess I'll just fly up with all the angels to
walk
the
it, and then it also looks like a double buzz with it going in reverse. Look at that.
But if you want to call my name, all these people hate it. They say I'm overrated.
Freaking wild. So I don't think I'm gonna get that, but the action looks cool. The Uma Death Roll. And then the Javelin, they're making in multiple sizes now. Fly is probably Fry, a little dude. 160 is a big dog. And the Monster, an absolute big dog. The Lazy Swimmer. Now, who knows about the Lazy Swimmer? Because this is now on my radar. Not necessarily the 9-inch, but the regular Lazy Swimmer that's like a 6.5 inch, like 2-ounce bait. The Lazy Swimmer is a floating swim bait, super realistic with a top hook as well as a treble on the bottom. Has a split fin on top to be rigged with a stinger hook, and it's got a HUD style tail. I mean, the whole thing looks badass. Like that is on my radar. The Lazy Swimmer. So it's the Swing Mikey, not the Swim Mikey. Yeah. Now, the original Mikey was like a super popular bait and then was discontinued. And since then, they've made a couple different versions of a sleek Mikey and a Kawashi Mikey. But the original Mikey in the 160 and the 140 are hard to find. I mean, you really can only find them in like the tiny little 115, which I have one of. But, I've wanted a bigger one, if we're being honest. So here's the little Mikey Jr. Multi-jointed, steep lip. Really good action on this thing, but this dude is little. It's like 115 millimeters, just like a little 4-inch bait, if that. So I've always kind of wanted the bigger version, but then when looking for the full-size Mikey, then I stumbled into the Swing Mikey, and I went way down that rabbit hole and was like, oh, dang. I kind of want that, yo. And I got to say, the action of the Swing Mikey looks really good. Matt says it's been out for a little bit now. I think it was new just a year or two ago, but I could be wrong about that. Yeah, for real. I mean, Matt, do you watch these videos with Japanese subtitles or US subtitles or neither? Do you just listen? I mean, it's funny to see the subtitles translated into English because the Japanese language is just so different. And they use a lot of funny analogies and yeah, the way that they word things is kind of goofy, but that's a good question, Matt. I don't really know. Um, I thought about that today after kind of falling in love with the Imakatsu lazy swimmer. I really like the action of it, but I don't know. And I think they actually license the tail. Like a lot of these companies, especially Imakatsu, I think are paying money to Huddleston for the tail, even though it's international. You would think that they've got a way around it, but they actually call it a Huddleston tail. Is that so? You learned today from Uncle Frank on BTL that you're a junk fisherman? Um, I think a lot of us are, if we're being honest. I am. Dude, uh, either that or you could send it my way. What size do you have? Is it 140 or 160? All right, so Matt uses the subtitles. He says he usually doesn't, but he does. Let's be honest. Imakatsu did work with Ken. I mean, I know that to be a fact for like at least the Huddleston fat fry and some of their soft plastic baits. But good on them for hooking Ken up a little bit. And I know that a lot of Huddleston baits make it out to Japan, but to answer your question, I don't know why the Imakatsu lazy swimmer over a Huddleston ROF 0. I don't know. I don't have a good reason for that. Maybe it's just the finishes. Maybe it's that I trust the innovation and probably the density of the plastic a little bit better, but I have no idea. Yeah, the little guy that I have is a 115, I believe. It's the Mikey Jr. Brendan, you missed us talking a lot about JDM, so don't know what to tell you, dude. So I'm going to go pee real quick. I don't desperately have to go, but I do have to go. So, Brendan, why don't you jump in and talk about the Imakatsu lazy swimmer versus a Huddleston ROF 0 and why you would throw one over the other? And also talk about a couple of these other baits that I really like the look of and have on my radar right now. So the jackal, you're not going to want to talk about the need bug or the drift crab, but cool soft plastics. The swing Mikey, not in this junior size, but the standard 115. The swing Mikey, do you know about it? Highly doubt that you're into the Jackal Kluber, but do you know about it? And then what about the Mag Draft Twitcher, the Mag Draft Hasu Raver, the Kanata Plus One, and specifically the Ito Shiner SSR? What do you know about those baits, Brendan? That's what we've been talking about mostly while you were gone, is just checking out this article from JapanFishingTackle.com. And, well, even this Uma death roll from Imakatsu looks freaking wild. But I need to go pee, and I'll be right back, y'all. So hang tight. Yeah, that's right. We're going to move on to bourbon in just a second. And I meant just a second. All right. The HUD is a proven big fetch catcher. There's some secret ways of fishing those ROF zeros. I believe it. On that list, Dave is most interested in the Twitcher and the Boa Junior. You big mega bass guy? Dave, Mr. Doom Rider. He owns 3 million Doom Riders. Or just 3, maybe. Now, give us a little bit of info on that. When you say you thought you were ready to tackle different water depths, but really you're just a junk technique guy. What do you mean by that? What were they saying tonight? What was Frank at BTL saying? I didn't watch the stream. So, by the way, got a fresh bottle of Elijah Craig small batch tonight. Cheers, everybody. I've talked about Elijah Craig. Holy shit. In this glass, it looks like a big pour that I just poured. Excuse my language. Sorry about that. This looks big. It's probably just like a normal double, if you will. But that is tasty. Easy drinking, even neat. No ice, no problem. You know what I'm saying? So 505, that is it's a good question. Whether I'm going to get some JDM baits or I'm going to get some stuff from like Tackle Warehouse, I don't quite know yet, but let me just run through the rest of this article and then I'll show you what's in my carts at these JDM places real quick. So the Imakatsu has a few other baits. The Magnum Javelin Hard, that looks pretty cool. Interesting little lip here on it. Spinnerbait. This Killer Bill wake is interesting. Doesn't necessarily grab my attention so hard, but let's see what's currently sitting in the tackle or in the cart here. So the drift crab, not in the mini, but in the original size, the 45, got in the cart. Geek-Crack Bug Pea. I'll say this bait intrigues me. And I'm probably going to get it at some point. It just isn't going to be back in stock at Tackle Warehouse for a while. Look at this bait on the fall. I want you to be able to see this. So those legs do a lot. And now I don't know whether I should get it or an Imakatsu bait that kind of does something similar, but I have confidence in the Geek-Crack baits and therefore am likely to at least give this a shot. So currently have 2 packs in the cart here, but probably am not going to pull the trigger on this cart. I do want the Hazardong Shad in this Sight Chartreuse color, and they had it here. But the reason I started the cart is because they have the Ito Shiner SSR, but only in this color, and it's the last one of this color. All the other colors are out of stock. So kind of annoying. And it is what it is. I'll probably go looking for this bait elsewhere, maybe even on eBay if I have to, or I know there's one other site that I did find them on. The depths custom bee chatter I've got in here, and then the lazy swimmer, and even a depths buzz jet. So yeah, let's go ahead and unshare that guy and then share a different tab with you real quick if I can. KK Japan lure. Is there anything in the cart here? Oh, this one I'm definitely not likely to take seriously. Oh, come on, dude. Let me see the cart. So this is like all soft plastics, but as you can see, I've got the Bariki Shad here in the 3.8 Kitech Chunk. The Nori's Hula Chat, which I did just fish for like the first time the other day and really like the action of it. The Hula Chat has a different blade in the half-ounce version than it does in the other sizes. I don't know if they show it on this website. Yeah, they do. So check it out. The 1/4 ounce, 3/8, and the 5/8 all have the standard hexagonal blade, and the half-ounce has this wider blade. So that kind of got my attention, made me want to try that size. Pack of the Bug Pea, Swing Mikey. This Jackal Revoltage looks like a pretty sick soft plastic. I hadn't seen this. Revoltage is a whole line of baits that they have, but this is a soft plastic frog style bait with soft plastic tails. And yeah, meant to be rigged on an EWG style hook. Looks pretty gnarly, if you ask me. So I had added a pack of those to this cart. The Jackal Pine Shrimp looks really cool. This is a multi-purpose bait that you can actually do a lot of different things with. So if you'll notice, it looks like a hula grub mixed with a chunk trailer, if you will, but it's got these wild ribs on the claw section. And I had the thought to do this before I even saw this picture of it showing the dual density or just the versatility of the bait, that you can cut it right in the middle of the bait. Shown on a free rig there, but what I was thinking of doing is chopping it in half, and then literally you've got a hula grub section and then a chunk section, 2 different baits in one. It's a 4.5-inch bait, so there you go. Could still work to do that. And so I added one of those to the cart. The Jackal King Drift Craw. This is a little bit different than the Drift Crab in that it's only on one side and has more of a chunk style kicker to it. So could be used as a flipping bait or a free rig bait. Looks kind of like the Jackal Honey Nugget in terms of the body, but with a lot more going on, bit more subtle of a bait. So that and the Jackal Eye Shad Cleo looks like a cool chatterbait trailer / drop shot bait. I always think it's fun to like see new baits like this and use my imagination to think what I could or would do with these baits. So Definitely not going to pull the trigger on this cart here since it's like all soft plastics. Sitting at $115 there doesn't make a lot of sense. Especially because I did a whole lot of like looking through my soft plastics in order to rearrange this and just reorganize a bit. And I have way more soft plastics than I need. So I am not likely to stock up on a bunch of soft plastics, but we'll see. All right. So let's see what you guys are talking about because I am way behind on the comments. Where is Adam Odin with the bug baits, right? I assume you're talking about. It's not the Hazadong, it's a 7-inch spark shad that I'm going to send you. Seven-inch spark shad. And I've got the package of them upstairs waiting for you. You got to remind me if there's one or two other things that I'm sending you. Maybe I already have them in the box. I don't remember, but this is the bait that I'm sending you. 7-inch spark shad. Totally understand. I'm actually the opposite with you. Here in Colorado, cannabis was legalized a long time ago, and I've been a user well before it was legalized. Since around the time that it became legal medically, but yeah, I stopped smoking, vaping, whatever you want to say. Not that long ago, actually, in the last couple of years, and I've had a couple of relapses, if you will, but that is not my recreational choice anymore. But booze is, and hate to say, but nicotine still is also to a certain extent as well. But alcohol is my current vice that I occasionally imbibe. You know, a couple times a week I will have a couple drinks, and maybe once a month I will have more than a couple drinks and usually come to regret it. But you'll go broke on KK Japan. Yeah, well, I've got carts loaded up in a bunch of different places here, so we will see. So I'll show you guys another cart that I have loaded up in just a second. Caught several today on a tube. Interesting. Yeah, I fish a tube actually only a couple times a year. I've got a box full of tubes sitting right there. Definitely underrated technique and one that I rarely remember to throw, but when I do, I tend to have success on. So I am with you on that. Yeah, speaking of swim jig, I didn't even know that Kitech made a conventional swim jig, but hopefully I'm going to find the cart that I have loaded up with a couple of Kitech swim jigs and show it to you in just a second. I had better punch that jackal bait. You think so? I'm sure I would fish it in like 5 different ways, but that's fair. Looks like a good punching bait, especially with that hula skirt right there where you'd put the punch weight instead of a punch skirt. You know, guys that use the drift crabs have good success with them. I'm sure they're a good bait. I mean, I'm almost positive. It's just they're not readily available. Well, chicken fried steak, I'm glad that you're with me there, dude. Too many soft plastics to deal with. Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on that cart, but I appreciate the sentiment. And if I were to buy it, I'll take you up on that. Not that I'm like opposed to a matte fire tiger, but yeah, not my first choice. I'll say that. Matt, that's a good question. Most is legal in Colorado, and that's the way it should be most places as well. Colorado is a pretty tolerant place, even though we're barely a blue state. We don't need to talk politics right now. All right, so let's see if I can pull up another cart for you. Share screen. And what do we have? I only have like 50 tabs open, so it's a little bit hard for me to find the proper cart. Japan fishing tackle. Did I already show you this cart? Yes, I did. KK Japan. Already showed you that one. What about... I could have sworn there was one other site. Sorry, I'm scrolling through the rest of my tabs right now, trying to figure out what's what. I'm going to show you what I technically don't want to show you right now. Because you guys might go steal this stuff, and it's fine if you do. That'll just prevent me from buying stuff, but so Ichiban is where I have bought from a few times. And there's a couple things that I want to change about this cart because I've only got a couple things loaded up, but Stealth Swimmer is cheap there, right? They've only got one color in stock, but it's a cool little juvenile trout, the Yamame color, and it's $15. All right. Now, the wattle bats is a bait that you can't find most places, but at Ichiban, it goes in and out in terms of availability. And I would say that for places that sell used baits, they rate their stuff better than others, and they price it very affordably. So A is really high quality, B is kind of meh, and C is not great. D is supposed to be bad, but honestly, this has D for scratches. And if you look at it, yeah, it does have some scratches, but they're like up in the front. It really doesn't look all that bad to be rated a D and to go for $5.50. This bait retails for like 20, $25 and will sell for way over that on the secondary market. So you guys know that I bought a couple of the baby bat or the tiny little bats, whatever it's called. I don't know if I bought them here or on another website, but I bought them full price and they're so freaking small, like way smaller than I thought they would be. So I was disappointed in those, but the big bats is a half ounce And I want to say that the regular Wattle Bats is 3/8 of an ounce. So in this cart, I have a Big Bats that's A quality for $11.50 in the cart, a Big Bats in A quality for $11.50. So the Chartreuse IU, and then the Doe Pink color, as well as that D quality for $5.50 in the Big Bats, of a stained gold color, and then a brand new Wattle Bats in this black Bats color, all black with a chartreuse top. $15. So not a bad price. Got those Wattle Bats, and then I've got 2 of the Megabass X Pods, both used as well. They've got these for a good price. This is like a $25 bait, something like that. One in the full size and one in the junior. So full size in one of my favorite top water Megabass colors, which is the GG Bass, I believe it's called. PM Bass. And I have not tried this bait yet. So keep that in mind. That is why I'm buying 2 of these for a whopping total of $17, cheaper than you would spend on one of them brand new. The X Pod is an interesting top water walking bait that can convert to a popper because it has a bill that will switch down. See if I can show you. Not exactly. I'd have to show you a video on the bait, but essentially this dude right here, you can see that there's some grooves. The chin will go down and open up, or it will stay all the way closed like this, and it will be a traditional walking bait, or you can open it up, pull it down, and it will turn into more of a blooping style popper. So bit of a versatile top water bait, and one that I've been vaguely interested in for some time, but noticed that Ichiban had it, as well as the Wattle Bats in a few different colors, and then the Buzz Jet for cheap, right? So this is what makes Ichiban unique, is that they've got used baits. So here's the standard size Buzz Jet, which goes for like $25, used for anywhere from $7 to $10. And so I went with, there's a clear color, the Grass Cat, which is pretty sick. And the thing that makes the Buzz Jet unique is that it's like a wake bait mixed with a whopper plopper. Okay, so it has a rolling style action to it, but it has that prop on the back. So the nose will dive a little bit, just a couple inches, and the tail will kind of keep popping out of the water, and that prop will churn. And it's got a very intriguing action. It is a bait that I have not purchased yet, but want to. So this is a way that I can kind of justify it. And then they've got the Buzz Jet Junior for like the same price. And in my opinion, the rolling action will favor a more shiny type of color pattern. So they've got a bunch of options here. Now, of course, jet black will do really well because of the type of bait that it is and the fact that in low light conditions, it will perform quite well. But nude black could be an awesome color. This Oyana Rami, looks like a pretty wild color. And then I think I had chosen the real largemouth actually, which just has a little bit of flash, but looks like a super cool color. And then, oh no, I chose the flashy, like Wakasagi type of color. And then they make a bone version of this bait. I didn't even know that. But they make a bone version of the Buzzjet and the Buzzjet Junior. And the Buzzjet Junior, they've got some great colors. Bone bass, bone carp, metal image. I mean, pancake tiger just looks like a crawfish. I don't know why you'd get that. Frog. Look at this red spider. I had this in my cart for a minute just because it looks badass. I mean, this is straight up Spider-Man. Of course, JDM manufacturers do this kind of thing. That's cool. And then they make a bunch of like weird stuff too, right? Flowers and what is this? More flowers. This one literally says Merry Christmas on it. This one has like blue flames on it. But it's a bone buzz jet. That's pretty sick. So I've got a couple X pods, a handful of wattle bats, and a handful of buzz jets for $102. I'm very tempted to pull the trigger on that cart, but I don't know, man. I don't know. So it's Ichiban Tackle. IchibanTackle.com. That's the website. Feel free to buy up all that stuff so it's no longer in stock and I can't buy it tonight or tomorrow. All right? Now, what in the world are you guys talking about? This bourbon's getting more and more delicious. Not because I'm getting drunk, but you kind of got to break it in a little bit. What's Dave doing? Someone caught a DD on your home lake yesterday? Shoo! Well, hell yeah. I'm with Chicken Fried Steak. Go get him, dude. That's badass. Do you know whereabouts on the lake that they caught him or no? Oh, Frank, you're very well liked, dude. Don't worry about it. We love you. Frank, I love you. Yep, ichibantackle.com. Matt, how do I check for discontinued baits? So the bone buzz jets are depths members only? I thought those colors are depths members only. Brendan, I just saw the first signs of the spawn the other day. So I was at one lake like almost a week ago and saw some fish way up shallow. And then yesterday, I was at technically my home lake, and I saw a bunch of fish dirt shallow and pairing up. Now, I only saw one bed that was like actually made, but no fish are locked on, nor do I think they've actually like decided on their partner. I saw a couple weird pairings of like looked like probably a 3.5, 4 pound spotted bass. Now, I don't even know if we have spotted bass here in Colorado, but this fish was crazy looking. Um, Big ass female, and she was paired up with an ugly ass largemouth male that was probably 1.5 pounds. And they wanted nothing to do with me. So I had a super frustrating day yesterday. Spent probably 2.5 hours on the water. Saw a bunch of fish. In fact, a bunch of good fish, which was really encouraging to realize that, like, okay, once things heat up, whether it's during the spawn or after, all summer long, it's going to be a good season at this body of water. I'm excited. Um, but it was just the absolute worst time, like a week before the spawn. So I have a feeling that come full moon in a week and a half to 2 weeks from now, it's going to be the deal. Now, it could be a little bit sooner than that, um, depending on weather and things like that. But yesterday was interesting. I will say that. You love my description of the bedding fish? What did I say? And Frank, I'm not inebriated yet. I mean, I could make it that way. I've had 1.5 drinks, maybe 2, if you will. Maybe 3 if you count my whiskey as a double. But I don't think it even was a double because the neck of this glass is so narrow. I mean, we're all men here, right? Kara's not even in here. Look at that. I can go with my first finger. That's not a big glass, all right? That's about a shot glass. That's a shot. I'm going barely more than a shot. So, that's about what I had last time. This is about what I'm having again. I'm not inebriated yet, but I do like talking about baits. Now, I don't know if I have the other website pulled up here. With that Kitech swim jig that I wanted to show you guys. Let me see if I can find it. It's a damn shame. Like spell it incorrectly on purpose. These JDM websites just they make it hard. Now it's called the Kitech Swing Swimmer. I don't remember what website I saw it on. I'm seeing this on eBay right now, but the Swing Swimmer. It looks kind of like the Evergreen Grass Ripper, but not really. So I'm looking it up separately just to show you guys. RIP my taste buds. What are you talking about? This isn't going to burn anything. Nor am I going to mess my liver up. Come on, man. Let me just show you. I cracked this bottle. This is all that I've had. Ain't nothing, dude. No, Brennan, I have not heard of Middle River Baits. What should I know about it? Good God, Gator. All right, let me pull up this Kitech swim jig for you to be able to see because it looks pretty gnarly. And it's not like I'm trying to hide anything by any means. I just can't actually find it. So here it is. Comes in like a traditional packaging, which is rare for Kitech. It's got a decoy hook in there. Very pointed head design, unlike a traditional Kitech. Looks good though, right? I have to imagine the skirt is as amazing as a traditional Kitech jig. It's got the weight stamped on the bottom. Now it's got a standard lead keeper on it, but on the website that I saw it on, it was like $5 a pop. So almost can't help it. And that I had added it to the cart of wherever I was. Maybe I've already just closed out of that business. So I showed you Ichiban. I showed you KK Japan Lure. I showed you JapanFishingTackle.com. I think that's all that I have pulled up. I've got the hookup and I've got Tackle Warehouse. And I'm not going to show you everything that I have at everywhere because Tackle Warehouse, I don't really even have anything loaded up yet. But to answer someone's original question, I am going to make a purchase in the next week. It is my wife and I's anniversary in 2 short days. In fact, it's our 11-year wedding anniversary. I'm taking her out for super classy dinner downtown. Got a babysitter that hopefully will hang in there. She herself has a daughter that is sick right now. So I'm hoping everything works out, but I've got a big gift, a trip planned for my wife and I next month that I'm really looking forward to. And we'll surprise her with that in 2 days from now when we're at dinner. So thank you very much, Chicken Fried Steak. Thank you, Brendan. Appreciate it. Yeah, 11 years. Proud of it, but 11 going on forever. Thank you, Dave. We got 19 people in here right now. How many thumbs up do we have? I can't see that. I'm in StreamYard. Hope you guys are doing well. I almost need to pee again. I've only been on an hour and 36 minutes. Gator's Adventures. I would love to get her a new combo. I mean, I've got 15 or 20 combos that I could just give her one, but if only she would be in for using a combo and going fishing with me. Not going to happen. Brendan, what did I just ask that you're saying 13 about? Get her some baits. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm going to go pee real quick again. You guys think about what you want to talk about for maybe 30 minutes or so. 13 likes, guys. Come on. We got 19 people in here. 13 likes, 16 likes. do me a favor, hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. I'm going to be back in 1 minute. Sorry, I'm muting you a little too fast. Frank, I'm not drunk. 11th anniversary, Tyler, 10-year anniversary, 11-year anniversary is redundant. You know what, Frank? You do this kind of stuff. How old did you turn? 61. It was your 61st, your 60th birthday, your 62nd birthday, whatever it was, dude. Chill out. Bruce Nichols, thank you so much. Appreciate you, Bruce. Get her appliances. We've got too many appliances. We can talk about appliances in just a second when I get back. I'm going to go pee. All right, I'm back. A dishwasher? That doesn't count. So we've got, not only do we have a crock pot, we've got an Instapot. We've got, we recently got an air fryer. We've got a ice cream maker. We've got, obviously we have a toaster. We have a rice maker. We have most appliances that you could think of. We registered for like half of them when we got married, and we have just gradually gotten most of them over time. And my wife uses most of them. We use the crock pot a lot. We use the Instapot a fair amount. The ice cream maker more than you would think. The rice maker like a few times a week. The air fryer we use like 3 times a week. The toaster almost every day. And there's a handful of other appliances that we have. And yeah, it's I can't even think of that many that we don't have at this point. It's kind of getting out of control. Air fryers are cool as hell. You're right, dude. Air fryer is a game changer. Yes, it is. surprisingly useful. Ice cream makers. Yeah. Well, my wife is a big ice cream woman herself and makes ice cream for my dad, who that's his soft spot. And she makes a different flavor of the month for him every single month. And so her Christmas gift for my dad is like a ice cream of the month every year for the last couple of years. And so she makes ice cream for him every single month. And so it gets used pretty well. Um, that is one appliance that makes its way out. But yeah, the Instapot is kind of underrated, but also not used enough. It's one of those things that, like, if you devoted enough time, you could use the Instapot every day. But the crock pot is useful, especially for slow cooking things. We just got soon to be delivered, but as a birthday gift to me, like a few months ago, I've got a Traeger grill coming. I use a standard gas grill, but I don't use a wood burning uh, slow cooker, if you will, or smoker. And so I've got a Traeger coming, but we cook every night. We only get takeout like once every couple weeks. Yes, it's a pellet. So yeah, we've got all the appliances. Dude, we've got a big kitchen. I should give you guys a tour sometime um, of the kitchen and all of the cabinetry that we have. So yeah, we've also got a bunch of different dish sets and a lot of different bowls, and we've got an immense number of glasses and anything you could imagine or want. We've pretty much got it in the kitchen. So I will give you a tour of the kitchen sometime soon. All right. How about that, Brendan? On a future live, I will do it upstairs and I will just give you a tour of the kitchen instead of the bait room. Now, a tackle of the or a tour of the tackle room, I don't know because it's an absolute mess right now. Maybe once I get it organized, which is on my short list of things to do, and I halfway did so in organizing my soft plastics in order to get ready for tonight's live stream. I've like got my soft plastics halfway organized. You guys know that I have my hard baits fairly organized, right? Like this box of rattle traps, lipless crankbaits is like pretty organized. Topwater poppers, pretty organized. JDM jerk baits, pretty organized. Flat-sided crankbaits, pretty organized. And so on and so forth for pretty much all types of baits, right? From wake baits to walking baits to frogs to ploppers, all over the board. But soft plastics and jigs just kind of ruin my situation here. You know, originally I thought like, oh, I could just have jigs in like a couple of boxes and chatterbaits in a couple of similar boxes and be good to go. No, it's gotten out of hand and I've got stuff everywhere right now. So that's a problem. But I will show you my kitchen at some point. How about that? Dude, Dave says I eat at least one bag of popcorn every single night of my life. That's ridiculous. What? Chili cheese Fritos are delicious. Well, do you fish geek crack? um, because you could just get your fix by opening a pack of Bellows gills and smelling them and call it a night, you know. The Rectech grill? I have no idea what that is, dude. What is the Rectech grill? Bruce, we have an entire cabinet full of mason jars, and an entire cabinet full of just vases for flowers. And then we've got a whole cabinet just full of wine glasses and short glasses, glasses like these. Yeah, it's out of hand. Any balsa flat sides that are not rapalas or greenfish. I don't have any greenfish. And no, I don't think the answer is yes. Balsa? No. Not in this box. So this box is mostly Rapala OG Slims, the Tinies, the Macbeths, the Blings, the Evergreen Flat Force, Spro Little Johns, the Lucky Crafts, the KJ Flats, Berkeley Fritsides, Evergreen, or the Berkeley, no, Rapala OG Slims, Striking Chick Magnet, 13 Fishing Flat Daddies, the 6 cents Crush Flat 75s. I've got some of the 13 or the 6 cents Flat Force, the Fritzide in the bigger sizes, and the KVDs in the 1.5 flat. That's pretty much what I have in that box. And I don't have many balsa flat sides. If you want to send me a balsa flat side, please do. Now, what makes a pellet grill better than a Traeger grill? I thought Traeger uses pellets. Now, I'm a newbie to it, so keep that in mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Brendan, you're probably right, but that's one rabbit hole that I have not gone down yet. And I don't know that I really want to look at crankbaits differently than I do already. I'll say it was only like a year or two ago that I like really got into cranking. Before that, it was primarily fishing soft plastics, whopper ploppers, chatterbaits, some wake baits, swim jigs, and a number of other techniques. But it wasn't until then that I really went down the rabbit hole of lipless crankbaits and flat-sided crankbaits, and more than just a couple types of square bill crankbaits and medium diving crankbaits, that everything started changing for me. So I don't know that I really want to go down that rabbit hole, if you will. Colonel Dave is your name now. That ought to be your name, Dave. Dave just eating popcorn every night. That's insane, dude. Colonel Dave. That's ridiculous. Later Gator is right. Chicken fried steak. Hope you have a great rest of your night, dude. Oh no, you're not out of here, but Gator's Adventure is. Have a great night. I'm sure you're already out of here, and I'm sure you're not cheersing booze to me, but smoking a bowl. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum. Cheers. In fact, hope you have a great rest of your night. Matt is probably doing both right now. Matt is smoking, toking, drinking, doing all of it. That's delicious. And I'm starting to make a dent in the bottle. Not really, but starting to, I guess. So if you guys were me, which cart would you pull the trigger on? I have to assume it would not be the second one that I showed you, KK Japan. It was like all soft plastics. Now, maybe it would be Japan Fishing Tackle, where I've got the Buzz Jet, the Lazy Swimmer, the Depths B Custom Chatter, the one Ito Shiner SSR, Hazardong Shad, the Bug Peas, and the Drift Crab. That's a pretty good cart. Or maybe it would be the Ichiban Tackle with all of those Waddle Bats and Buzz Jets, the Imakatsu Stealth Swimmers, and the Megabass X Pods. But I mean, let's just say you had $100 and some dollars to spend for no apparent reason. What would you get? Matt's just smoking, no drinking. Okay, that's fair. I would have done the same up until about a year or two ago, but that's not the right move for me. And so I hear you. I'm doing the opposite tonight. Just vaping some nicotine and drinking some alcohol. You know, we've all got our own vices. Brendan, please grow up to be better than the rest of us and do none of those. No nicotine, no alcohol, no marijuana, slash THC or CBD. Who knows? Do what you got to do. It's hard for me to keep up with you guys. I don't know what you guys are talking about each other. I think you're right. He's just sniffing bait dust. He's sniffing balsa. You know? Good for you, Brendan. That is probably the way to keep it going for the rest of your life. I mean, I know that you're young and technically you don't have the perspective that the rest of us do. But Brendan, we all hope and pray and wish the best for you. You know, stay on the straight and narrow if you can. All right. Now, not if you can, just please do. You are a lot younger than the rest of us and got a lot of life to live before you are where the rest of us are. But I hope and pray that you stay on the straight and narrow. I mean, that would be super cool. I thought the same thing of myself when I was 16, 17, and then all of a sudden things kind of shifted for me. Um, when I turned 18, 19, 20, things changed. But I went away to college and became kind of my own person, influenced my friends influenced me, and it is what it is. So, Dave, substance free is the way to be. Yep. Brendan is the oldest 18-year-old since I was 18 years old. Frank, you're right, dude. Matt says, just watch your friends. That's good advice. Very profound. That's interesting. I haven't thought of it that way, but yeah. Brendan, that's not freaking true. Don't think about it like that, dude. You spend lots of money on baits, and you could easily spend half of that on drugs and alcohol, and that would be a bad decision. So keep it on the straight and narrow, my dude. Not that I am right now. But we applaud you for being an 18-year-old and not being tempted by drugs and alcohol. You know, what you're doing right now is remarkable, right? Let's all give Brendan a little round of applause for graduating high school early, for pursuing a passion in bait making, in bass fishing, um, while also working a day job with his dad's business in the horse business, working hard and doing the right things. Brendan, you are on a good path right now, and I have to admire what you're doing and just encourage you to keep doing the right thing. You know, there are a lot of us that are twice your age and not doing the right thing. Um, that you should just know that you are in a really good position. And as long as you stay on the path that you are, you're going to be in a great place in no time. So, you know, I don't know how long ago it was that you were on my live stream and I said you were a prodigy, but quite frankly, you are not just a bait making prodigy, but just in life, you are on the right path. And I think it would be wise of you to live with your parents as long as you can, not to take advantage of them, but to be influenced by them, to save your money, to do all the right things, and to save your money and then invest wisely when you can, to avoid debt, to be influenced by the right people, and to just make smart decisions and advise the right people. You know, I think a lot of us kind of wander through life in our teens and our 20s, even into our 30s, just comparing ourselves to our peers, right? Um, and in this day and age with social media, we can't help but compare ourselves to our peers. That is just the way that life goes. But the life that you're living is pretty narrow and admirable. And I will say that you don't know how wise of a life that you're living truly is until you start to wander from that path. And you'll look back at this time that you're living right now thinking those were the days. So good on you, Brendan. And stick with it as long as you can, quite frankly. So Matt says, Brendan, it's not about the number, but how those people behave themselves. I think you're on the right path, man. Just keep it up. Good point. Bruce says, I quit smoking the greens and drinking when I turned 21. Bruce, look at you, dude. Brendan seems to be surrounded by people that only do the right thing. Buzzin' buddy prophecy knowledge. Fair enough, dude. Brendan is on a 12-step program. If he starts acting up, I'll throw him down a set of 12 steps. Frank knows what's up. Brendan says he wants to leave his parents' house as soon as possible. I'm lucky enough to have an amazing relationship with both my parents. Well, don't leave as soon as possible. That's the point, dude. Quite frankly, I think you will look back at this time that you're living right now and think of it as precious. Um, Not to say that you will be lonely on your own, but that you will reminisce about the days that you did live with your parents and how easy it was and how smooth and how much money you were saving, all of the above. So, do your parents agree? Are you guys all on the same page, or is it possible for you to just kind of milk it a little bit longer? I don't know. Because it's different for everybody, right? If I were you, I would quote unquote milk it for another 6 months or a year, stack as much cash as you possibly can, and then move out and have a good 3 to 6 months of cushion before you actually leave. Dude, you're only 18. Well, Brendan, I'm glad to hear that. You say you've heard some people, you've seen some people go down some dark paths, so it seems so it kind of makes me want to stay on the right path. Now, kinda isn't enough, dude. That's gonna make you wander a little bit. And to be honest, I'm gonna raise my kids. I've got 2 daughters and a son. I'm gonna raise them in a very similar way to the way that my parents raised me. I'm going to raise them as well as possible while they're young. I'm going to raise them in a spoiled way where they are exposed to a wide variety of athletics and traveling the world. And then I'm going to encourage them to leave the house as early as possible, college age, and get an exposure to what is out there, what is different, and to figure out for themselves what they believe and encourage them to come back home when they see fit, right? Hopefully when they settle down and build a family. But it doesn't always work out that way. And I don't know, it kind of freaks me out, right? Like if my kids decide that they want to stay home for longer, I will most likely allow that. Um, I'm not saying that to them right now, nor will I straight to their face, but um, like I want them to get as much exposure to the real world as possible, but at the same time, I also want them to maintain a certain element of innocence. And I want them to stay true to themselves. So that in itself is fairly deep. It's hard to explain, but Brennan, I feel like you're like on the brink of both of those, right? Where you are staying true to yourself and you're maintaining your innocence and you're doing all the right things. But that last comment that you made makes me wonder if maybe you're open-minded just enough to wander. And as a parent, not your parent, but as a parent, it makes me wonder like, might you wander a bit? I mean, probably yes. Um, do I want you to? No. And I don't know. But what's the right move for you? I have no idea. Um, I wandered earlier than you, but probably not as early as a lot of other people. And I still don't think it's the right move. You say you're not going down that road. Um, no, I mean, I'm not even thinking about your last comments, but just saying, you're only 18 years old. You've got a million years left to live, right? You've got an entire life ahead of you. And and not only do you need to figure out like what it is that you want to do with your life and what you want to do for work and who you want to be, what you want to be remembered as, and what you want to do with your life, which is super deep. It's like very wide ranging, right? I don't think half of us really know the answer to that question, but let's be honest in admitting the fact that like you're going to figure things out as you go. Like you don't know what you're talking about right now. You think you do, and you think you're just going to be a bait maker forever. You're going to stay innocent, and you're never going to get married. But no, you're gonna wander out there a little bit. You're gonna meet people. You're gonna do different things. You're going to decide what you want, and then you're going to figure out what means most to you. And there's a lot that happens in between there. So, Frank, I hear you. A lot of my family members, my parents, my mom's parents in particular, um, went in that route. They, all kind of died in their 60s. And so it kind of freaks me out thinking about the fact that my parents are in their early 60s right now. And just being able to see the influence that my parents have on my kids right now and know that they're in a much better place and that my kids are relying on them for what will happen in 10 years from now, um, makes me very excited. And my parents don't have a problem with dependence on substances or anything like that. So everything is looking up, but I think we all 17 of us, whoever's in here right now, are all on Brendan's side of the equation and wishing him all the best. You say they, but you're the one leaving the house. That's what you say for now, dude. That's gonna change down the road. Once you meet a nice lady, no bachelor life anymore. You're gonna be doing what she wants when she wants. You know what I mean? It's not the easiest. Not to say that it's not the most desirable, because it is. Like that is what you will want forever. And you might need to ask your dad and or your mom, like, why they chose to go down that route, what they find most desirable or interesting about being married and raising kids, and why you should want to do the same. That will lead you to believe similar things. Like, I have a brother-in-law that does not want to have children, and it makes me sad for him, right? Um, because it makes me think about legacy. Makes me think 3 steps ahead in terms of, like, one of the books that I recently read. I don't know who it was. Adam Odin was asking recently, like, what books should I read? What audio books do you guys listen to? I recently listened to the book Start, Stay, or Leave by Trey Gowdy, right? Um, and it was a fascinating book talking about just legacy in general. And I thought it was very interesting. Um, and now you guys are in my head saying that life coaching with Tyler, and Tyler got the buzz going. You know what, you guys, I could talk about this for a while, but you guys, I apologize. This is not what I intended to do tonight, but Brendan is 18 years old, right? The rest of us are a lot older. So let's just be honest. I apologize. I also don't apologize. Brendan, you need to stay on the straight and narrow. Should we talk about baits? What do you guys want to talk about? Throw a couple baits at me. I'll throw you some knowledge and we'll get out of here. There's still 15 people in here. I have no idea why. Because I've gotten way off base, way off guard. It is what it is. Adam Odin is not in here to talk about rats and bats and throw some names at me. JDM shopping stream turned free life coaching session. That's true. But Brendan, I have a lot more to throw at you. And it's just a matter of whether you want to take it or not. I was once your age and I did not graduate early. And I was definitely more of like a either middle of the pack socialite or early adopter when it came to technology and products. Like I wanted to be one step ahead of the game. And it's easy. I can see that you're big into like JDM and balsa flat sides and all that stuff, but dude, take the tail off that rat. What do you think? You don't like the tail on that rat? You like that or no? That was just handmade. I put some marabou on that. Do you like that or no? Matt has a lot of crawlers with marabou tails. I don't know. That was kind of a wild idea that I had a few months back because I lost the tail on this dude. This is the Rat 40. This is the Rat 50, and I haven't fished this nearly as much, but the Rat 40 has gotten me a ton of action over the last couple of years. So I tied on a marabou trailer hook on that. I don't know about that, dude. I mean, it's possible that a lot of fish are eating the tail and that maybe I should throw a marabou or something else, or just take the tail off altogether and just fish it as the rat itself. But I don't know. That's a good point. You tie marabou on your rear rat tail hooks as well? Interesting. All right, guys, 15 people in here. It's pretty much just Brendan and Matt talking and a little bit of Dave Jolly. But if anybody is in here and has something to say, feel free to jump in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to jump off of here soon. It's been 2 hours and 18 minutes. It's been a fun Thursday night. I super appreciate your time. But Brennan says, or put a booty shaker on that rat to add noise. Now, what exactly do you mean by that? A paddle tail? A rattle? What do you mean? Because that has been the issue. And the reason that ultimately I went with a marabou feather treble hook on this guy is I think I had gotten the tail section so junked up and like glued in there that I wasn't able to free that for a long time. If you notice, there's a hole in here in the Spro Rat, the BBZ1 Rat series of baits that you can poke with a toothpick, right? And once the tail breaks off, it's hard to use. So I had glued in a tail and I wasn't able to dig out the tail. So this is kind of a messed up butt section of the rat. So I just decided to go with a marabou rear feather treble and figure out what I could do on there. Whereas this is almost close to stock as it is. Bruce says, Tyler, I have a Tatula Type R 8-1-1 left hand. Do you have anything in right-handed trade? Dude, Bruce, I don't. I don't throw right hand a lot. I throw left hand 75, 85% of the time. I mean, wait, you have a left hand. You want to trade for a righty? Tatula Type R. Send me a picture of that, Bruce. Send me a picture on Instagram and I'll let you know. Because I might. If you want a righty for the lefty, I very well might. All right. Few different reels, in fact. So, Bruce, hit me up on Instagram or text me 303-819-6815. You can text me there. Resin versions of LaGrady shortcakes. No, I did not see that. I mean, I've always been a fan of LaGrady, but I don't know about that bait. Shoot me a message on Instagram or remind me later. I very well might check it out. Yes, Brendan. I mean, there's 15 people on here. It's not a big deal. I would say it again, but I'm not gonna. Wow, 3/16 inch drill bit. Get out the drill bit. All right, fine. I don't think it's 3/16, but I believe you. I might, but that's fine. I already screen a lot of calls, dude. I mean, in this day and age, we get so many junk calls. I mean, let's see. I'll tell you today, I screened probably 5 or 10 junk calls today. Look at all these calls. Now, it's sad that 2 or 3 of those are people that I know, but potential spam out the ass, dude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all in the last day. So it's normal. I mean, you can prank me all you want, but please don't. All right, guys. I am about to pee for the 3rd time, so I'm just gonna down this and bid you a. Hope you have a great night. Thank you, Brendan. Please don't. All right, guys. Super appreciate the support. If you're still in here somehow, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for your support. Hope you're doing well. Hope Brendan is doing well and forever will do well. Bruce sent me a message on IG. Appreciate you. Dave, thanks for hanging out. Brendan, Matt, everybody else who is still in here, thank you. Hope you have a wonderful night and a good weekend. If I don't see you again, I will be with my wife on Saturday night celebrating our anniversary. Happy 11 years. To you, Juliana, I doubt you're watching tonight, but thank you for everything. Hope you have a great night, everybody. See you on the next one. Peace.